What does a learning outcome look like? This is an outcome on a program level and is therefore a lot more complex than what just one module outcome will look like. But the reason we use this example is to include all the elements that it could possibly include. So don't stress, let's take it step by step. So let's take this learning outcome and break it down into sections. Firstly, we have to describe the course of the learning opportunity. So in this case, being a program outcome, it says upon successful completion of the degree. Then we have to define the subject. In this case, graduates. We have to use action verbs, and we'll talk about this a bit more in a few minutes. In this case, formulate, analyze, evaluate, and solve. What are we talking about? What is the object? What do they have to formulate or analyze? In this case, convergent and divergent engineering problems. Next step is to describe the specific context or circumstances using the first principles of maths and other sciences. And then the last one, state a specific set of values and norms and or attitudes which direct thought and actions. And in this case, in an innovative way. So if we have to look at this program outcome as a whole, you can see how it's broken up into the different aspects of writing a learning outcome. As stated earlier, this is an outcome on a program level, and it is therefore more complex than what a module outcome will look like. But we wanted to include all the elements that it could include. Let's have a quick word about action verbs. Remember that we said earlier that knowledge can be created in 3 different domains. If we have a look at the knowledge domain, can you remember we referred to Bloom's taxonomy? And I'm sure many of you are familiar with Bloom's. When we talk about action verbs, when we formulate outcomes, have a look at the verbs listed on each level. So when we are formulating an outcome and we want students simply to list information, then you'll see on the knowledge level, right at the bottom, one of the action verbs we could use is list. As the levels become more complex, you'll see at the top level where it says evaluation, we might want students to justify an answer or evaluate a piece of work. When we talk about the skills domain, once again the same principle about action verbs apply. You might want students to perform something, demonstrate something, watch something. If we talk about attitudes, once again, we might want students to support each other, to be alert to. These are valuable tools to use when writing outcomes or evaluating your own outcomes. These taxonomies are valuable tools that can guide you when writing outcomes.